Now it is recording.
Okay.
Okay. So it's nice to meet you today.
Thank you. You too.
We don't have as many questions. They're very simple and I hope you enjoy them. I don't know, Karen, you want to start with the first one and I'll
Yeah,
continue.
okay. So, if you would like to introduce yourself, maybe first, um,
Sure. Is this recording being shown to anybody?
just our professor.
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause I'm not even. I just in my exercise clothes. Um, yeah. I'm Diane Rishikoff, and I'm a functional dietitian in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Oh, wow.
Okay, mhm. So our first question was, could you share your journey of how you got into the field of integrative and functional nutrition?
Yes. I have Crohn's disease, which is a digestive disorder, and it's actually the reason I got into nutrition in the first place. But conventional dietetics didn't have a whole lot to offer me either. And finally, um, when I got really sick and tired of being sick, I looked into, I basically just took to the internet and looked into like what else could be happening. And that's when I discovered the microbiome and the idea of leaky gut. And I was like, this stuff makes sense. And that's when I discovered, there's a whole field called functional nutrition and that actually deals with this stuff. And it was like beautiful. Like, oh, this is exactly what I need. And so
Mm.
obviously it transformed my own health, but it also transformed my practice. I was already a private practice dietitian, but I was, you know, this is much better. Like it just transformed my practice. It was like exactly what I needed professionally as well.
Oh, that's very good. Wow.
Mhm.
Perfect. All right. So I have another one is you specialize in gut health, like you said right now, and specific conditions like IBS, GERD, and SIBO, as well as having your own personal health struggles with conditions like Crohn's and IBS. How do you feel your own personal experiences have shaped the way you work with clients? Like how does
Well, because I have a lot of motivation to figure out my own health issues, it there's a lot of drive to learn. Obviously, the drive to learn professionally is there too, but it's hard for me to separate. Like, I think I just have so much drive to learn because it relates to my own health. And so, um, I'll never know, obviously, if I would have had the same drive if it was just for my clients, because I might have, but I just know that when I need to learn about something for my own health, I'll just consume all the books and all the webinars and all the seminars and all the, you know,
yeah, yeah, makes sense. Total sense. That happens to
Mm.
me too. Like with whatever thing, if I want to learn about it, even if it's boring for anybody else, for me, I get like super obsessed. And
Mhm.
it's funny.
Mm.
All right, Karen, would you like to go with the third one?
Yeah. Okay, so your specialties also include counseling for psychological disorders like ADHD, anxiety, and depression. So, how do you go about creating nutrition strategies to support these clients with mental health challenges?
yeah. So basically, what I walked into is that um, the gut is the root cause of a lot of those things. And I just the research is out there. The research is abundant. I don't think it's necessarily the case that every person who has anxiety that their gut is the root, but that's what the research, every research study is like, oh yeah, yeah, that's the root cause. So that's kind of why I got into the mental stuff is the ADHD, autism. That's where the gut plays a huge role. Anxiety, depression, the gut plays a huge role. So it was very, very natural for me to just take on those as well as specialties. There's a lot of good research about supplements for ADHD and autism, gluten-free, dairy-free. Like there's a lot of good research out there. So I just started learning again everything I could and using it. I don't have as many patients. I just don't have, I have thousands of gut patients. I don't have like
Mhm.
tons and tons of experience with the ADHD and autism. I just naturally was putting it into my practice because it goes along with the gut.
All goes along. I've never thought of it going
Thank
along
you. That's very
with that.
interesting.
That's very interesting.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right, I have other questions. So having been in a private practice for 18 years, what do you find the most rewarding about working independent?
Okay. Most rewarding. Well, the most rewarding thing, and I don't know if it matters that it's independent versus not independent, but is when people get well. Like when I get somebody well and they're like, oh my God, I never thought I'd feel good again, or I tried 10 different doctors and you're the only one who helped me. And, this is the most rewarding. And it happens plenty, it happens most of the time. And it's really, really great. It never gets old. It's the most rewarding thing ever. So.
Is Yeah, it is rewarding. Sounds good. And this one goes along with the other question that I just asked. What are some of the challenges when working independently?
Yes, so there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
So I'd say the first challenge would be be feeling isolated, both in terms of socially isolated. I don't have a lot of work friends, but also in terms of, being kind of on my own if there's a tricky case or, a tricky patient. And this is one of the reasons why I actually mentor other dietitians, and I personally mentor other dietitians. Plus, I have a course and a group mentoring other dietitians because I feel like this is something I would have wanted 20 years ago or 10 years ago that I didn't seek. I didn't know was out there. I didn't have it. I did go to IFNA, obviously, and that was very good, very, very good. That was one of the reasons I did IFNA, was to learn, but also just to make sure I was doing kind of what I was supposed to be doing, because who knew? I had no supervisor, I had no nothing. So I think that's the biggest challenge.
Yeah, because it's also like you're your own boss, but it's also more responsibilities that you have to assume. I see my dad, for
Hmm.
example, he works a lot. He has his own business, but he's the one that has to do, I don't know how to say it. Let's say everything. So he comes home and he also has to work. He's not like I go to work and I leave work there.
Yes, there's
He has
well,
to
that's
cook.
another challenge, but it's probably not the biggest challenge. But the other challenge is the boundaries between work and home. Besides the fact that my office is out of my home, but there's no boundaries. The work happens at night. The work happens on the weekends.
Yeah,
Oh, that doesn't bother
Hmm.
me much, but it's definitely it's definitely a con, but it's not that bad.
it's not that bad. Exactly.
Okay.
And would you like to go with the next one?
Okay. So you have experience working in schools and with children, and this is something that I'm interested in working in. And so I wanted to ask, like, what was your personal experience working with this group, and if there are any unique experiences that stand out to you?
Well, and my private practice, if I work with children, it's mostly with their parents. But I have taught a couple of classes in
Hmm.
schools, if that's what you mean. You know, it's not my sort of forte, I guess. I love kids, but it doesn't, I don't know how
Hmm.
to, I tried to do a nutrition course for them, a little bit. And, they're not that interested. So that was a little bit of a challenge. I love having kids as my patients because the parents are basically, they're the interested parties. So that's cool. I don't know if I answered your question, but it's a tricky thing.
No,
But
yeah.
if you like that population,
Hmm.
it's fine. Yeah.
If
Hmm.
you're
Thank you.
yes, perfect. Thank you so much. And we have another one. Where do you see the field of functional nutrition going in the future?
Well, hopefully it just keeps on getting stronger. There's more and more research every day. Part of the problem, as with anything and everything, is the research can be ignored or, dismissed or whatever by people who don't believe it. So that's probably going to continue. But the rest of us are going to also continue doing functional nutrition and getting people well. And so that's really, really good. Um, and hopefully it just continues to be recognized by most people.
That's great. Yeah, to be honest, I think this is it's great that we got the chance to have the interview with you because this is the one of the topics that I don't go or like read the most about when it comes to
Mhm.
because we read a lot, but I feel like we don't get as much from like the gut health and all that, and that is very important. For example, my dad suffers a lot from stomach burns and like how is that called? Uh,
Like an ulcer?
yeah, like I don't know how to say it in English. It's like he has this, like he cannot have like garlic or
Yeah. So he has either gastritis or GERD or something like that.
gastritis. That one, oh my God, I'm sorry. Gastritis. So he suffers a lot from that. And I never read much about it, but I'm gonna start doing it because it actually could help, it can help him a lot.
Oh, 100%. I help people gastritis every day.
Yeah, it's just for him it's been a journey with that. Even like he has a schedule for like brushing his teeth because even the toothpaste affects him and affects him there. And we don't my family we don't suffer from that except for him. And I don't understand it much, but I'm trying to like, understand it more as a way to help him on that. So it's kind of nice that we got the chance to interview you and give you your insights on that.
Yeah, great.
Thank you so much. Karen, do you have any other questions or
Mm, So we had, I mean, I guess a question that I would have is that is there like any research that you would want to do, or like are you interested in maybe doing your own research in the future?
Um, I love that idea. Like, I mean, I just don't know all about like doing it, like in terms of, actually doing it and doing it right and enrolling people and the double blind stuff. And, I think about,
Mm-hmm.
just like, because there's so many supplements that I use that work so well, but there's
Mhm.
no research study behind them because there's no pharmaceutical company money behind it. So I'd love to do it, but I don't know. I don't really know how to do it either. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it would be small if I did it, but.
That's good. Yeah,
Okay, thank
research,
you.
I've always wanted to, like that was part of my idea after graduating, like going into that. But then I realized I was like, I don't know if that would if I feel like it's very complicated. It has a lot of pros and but many cons too. So I'm thinking of that too. I'm also thinking on going into occupational therapist for my master and combining both the nutrition and occupational therapist and see how that goes, how that those two additions go because they're different worlds, but they can definitely help on doing something. Yeah. But yeah, those were the questions we basically had.
Okay.
We um normally we needed originally we needed around 20 minutes in the interview. I'm thinking of another question. I had a lot of in my head, but right now they just disappeared.
Okay.
Um, in your journey, what was the most difficult like the most difficult thing that you have to go through or overcome to get to have your own practice? What was the most difficult part of it?
Um, well, the beginning when it's slow and you're trying to get people and you're wondering if you're going to make enough money, and you're wondering if you're going to get enough clients. That's unsettling.
That can be challenging, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just everybody has to go through it really. It starts slow. It always does.
Yeah, that happened to my
Mm-hmm.
dad. It is in the beginning it can be tricky.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, this is good. I'm happy to help. I hope you guys do well with your assignment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Thank
this is the
you.
second time I interviewed that dietitian. The first one was about the first one that I interviewed was for eating disorders. So, and she said the same answer as you, that it is tricky sometimes when you have to build this relationship with the patient too, and maybe not seeing results that you would like them to have. That is very tricky. And I see
Yeah.
that I think that the eating disorders is such a you
Yeah,
have
so
to
it's
love
the
it.
only thing I don't treat. I treat anything else besides eating disorders because I just don't know enough about that. It's a very tricky.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
You need the yeah, you really need to love it.
Yeah, exactly.
My side, I'm good. So Karen, do you have any other questions? So we can like
I think that's it for me, I think.
We're good? All right.
Okay.
We said all the ones. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you.
But it was very nice to meet you
Thank
today.
Nice to
you.
meet you both. Thanks.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you so much.